Hey, everybody. What is it? Week 17 of the Auric programming journey. So we're on the enteric nerves. This is part of the nervous system that doesn't get talked about very much in any modality. I mean, a little bit here and there. The thing that you would probably hear about it is that it's the second brain, and it's the nerves that have to do with the gut. You know, the thing that's very interesting about the enteric nerves, it's this kind of like webbing or mesh of nerves that kind of innervate the whole abdominal area. And that's kind of the thing that they do is the digestive system. But, you know, every part of the nervous system, like if something gets severed, like if you break your back and you get where the spinal cord gets injured in a particular area, everything below that area doesn't function anymore. Like the nerves kind of go. And so the same with the autonomic nerves. Like if some part of the nervous system is damaged, that area just doesn't work anymore. Like, it's interacting and relaying messages and receiving information from the brain. Now, there is one exception in the whole entire nervous system, and that is the enteric nerves. If you were to go through and sever like all the connections between the brain and the enteric nerves just keep plugging along. Like they're really tied to, you know, kind of like a vegetable state, things that are operating without you being aware of it. It's very involuntary, but even even if the nerves get damaged or severed, the gut keeps going forward. And so, this has a lot of benefits, obviously, with the digestive system, but you can see here instinctive responses. It has an impact on that, has an impact on emotional functions, especially lower emotional functions. It's involved with the homeostasis mechanism, and it also increases conductivity, to the divine, to the soul, to the spirit. The other thing that I would say about this that, I didn't write here, but getting together the notes for this upcoming weekend's class, we're going through the central nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, the somatic nervous system, autonomic nervous system. But the very first thing up when we go through and do our processes is the enteric nervous system. And, the thing we're doing on the weekend is about how the nervous system dictates like the function and parameters of the heart. Like if you feel loved, it's because both your emotional heart, the energetic heart, and your nervous system have come to a place where you can feel loved. If you're very loving or you have self love, again, it's your nervous system and the emotional component kind of coming together. And the thing that's interesting about the enteric nerves is part of what it does is it is an aspect that has to do with processing karmic imagery. Like it's kind of how one of the aspects of how we kind of process our karma or our karmic imagery. And so this is why its impact on emotions and instinctive responses is that if it's in a hyper reactive or hyper vigilant state, or it's not functioning well, when it's exposed to information or stimuli from the environment or karmic imagery that's maybe in the blood, there's going to be an overreaction in the gut, overreaction in the homeostasis mechanisms and the instinctive responses, your generation of lower emotions. And so, we might have karmic imagery coming up, but how we think dictates how it's going to manifest, right? It's not so much like I don't want ever my karma to manifest. It's gonna manifest, right? The sun's gonna come up in the morning and your karma is gonna manifest at some point. We know these. And so with that, all we can do is start adjusting and how we respond to this imagery, how we respond to these situations. And this goes back to the idea of that it's not about the thing or the incident, but it's how we think, right? It's always about how we think. And when we come from the intellectual point of mind, we don't really think about something in the how. We think about things as objects. Like even past event is a situation, it's an object from the point of view of intellect. It might have been traumatic, but how we think about it, how we process it, either makes it devastating or something that we grow and learn from and we become a better person, right? And a lot of times it's a little bit of both, right? But it's how we think about these things, not what happened, but how we processed it, how we thought about it as these things were happening. The One of the best things you can do for yourself is keep adjusting how you think, which is intuition, it's clairvoyance, it's learning, it's processing. Um, anyway, I could keep going on and on and on, but let's get in and do the process. So you have your blend enteric support, and we're going to start off with the standard approach. And with the standard approach, your awareness is on the left side of your body, from the left side of your face and neck, your left shoulder, all the way down to the left outer angle. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Awareness is on the left side of your body. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Move your awareness to the front side of your body, your face and throat, your chest, all the way down to the tops of your feet. Mm. I mean, isn't it the one with like Artemis or absinthium and wormwood? Mm. Yeah, super healthy. Your awareness is on the front side of your body. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Yeah. Absinthium, Cape chamomile, Davana, which is in the same family as Artemisia, absinthium, and Artemisia and lung. Your awareness is on the right side of the body. Right side of your body. Right side of your face and neck, your right shoulder. All the way down to the outer ankle. And then the back side of your body. The back side, back of the head and neck, the whole back, the hips, down the backs of the legs, all the way to your heels. And then just pause and be still. Do you feel? Oh, let me yeah, calming, soothing, like a reboot. Yeah, Samantha was saying like calming, soothing, a bit of a reboot. Let's just say we've had a couple weird days, and so that she's feeling calmed and rebooted. Yeah. So the standard approach is something you do daily. You can add it to, a protocol or a set of protocols. You could also do a stack where you do like maybe 3, 4, or even 5 Auric programs all together that's very specific to you, things going on with you. And that is something you can do all the time. You can do it multiple times in a day if you want it. But here we're going to do the advanced approach. And with the advanced approach, this is something you might only do once or twice a week. Your energy body needs time to kind of process it. And if you did it daily, which I've done, I don't recommend. but it can be a little too much. And so I found like when I just let my body kind of do what felt doable, it was like 1 to 2 times a week. And so, I get it when you kind of want to push through something, but sometimes having a little break makes it actually happen faster. So we're going to do the advanced approach. Your awareness is on the left side of the body. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then the back side of the body, your whole back side, back of your head and neck, your whole back, your hips, down the backs of your legs to your heels. The right side of your body, right side of your face and neck, your right shoulder, all the way down to the right outer heel. And then the front side of the body, your face and throat, chest, abdomen, front of your pelvis, down your legs to the tops of your feet. Then pause and let go. Begin inhaling. Your awareness is on your knees, either the whole knee or just the back of the knee. Your ankles. Your awareness is on your ankles. The soles of your feet. And then just pause and be still. Pause and be still. Now, let's do the 4 quadrants. Your awareness is on the left side of your body, left side of your face and neck, left shoulder, ribs, all the way down to the left outer ankle. And then the front side of your body, the whole front side, your face, throat, chest, all the way down to the tops of your feet. Your awareness is on the front side of your body, your face, all the way down to the tops of your feet. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on the right side of your body, the whole right side of your face and neck, your right shoulder, right hips, all the way down to the right outer ankle. Hmm. And then the back side of the body, back side, back of the head, neck, your whole back, your hips, down the backs of the legs, all the way to the heels. And then just pause and be still. Okay, last little section. Your awareness is on your brain. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the brain. Your spine, your awareness is on your spine. Your brain and spine both at the same time. And then the brain and soles of the feet. Awareness is on the brain and the soles of the feet. As you inhale, you move your awareness a bit above the ankle. As you exhale, down into the earth. And pause and be still. So notice your body, your feelings, your thoughts. How's that feel for you, by the way? Yeah. I mean, the other thing that I would say, for the enteric nerves is um, it's tied to stress, stress and stress response. Probably even, not so much that you're in fight flight or not, but just like the initial, like when you first have that stressed out response to something, a lot of times that is the brain in your gut or the second brain. And yeah, the more that you calm this down and regulate it, the more your stress response changes. And like, sometimes even like when we're doing our breathing, we're doing a kind of abdominal breathing. You're inhaling through your nose, you're exhaling through the mouth. And that is engaging more of going down into the abdomen rather than just being a chest breather. And just even that has a regulating effect on the autonomic nervous system, which is fight, flight, and rest and repair, but also on the enteric nerves. And I was just talking with a friend, and we were talking about, I don't know, sports. not that I'm a sports guy, but just, I'm always curious about enhancing athletes' performance, and they were doing a study, and apparently, like in his circle of sports and everything, he's like, yeah, they just made a big breakthrough, like a big aha moment. Breathing in through your nose actually increases performance and endurance and longevity, and it went down this whole thing. And that seems like really apparent. But he goes, yeah, he goes, this whole time I've been breathing through my mouth. I was like, that's not very efficient. Like, you breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. And it it's tied to all these stress responses, but it's also what oxygenates the blood, reduces the production of lactic acid in an athlete, which keeps them out of going into deeper fight flight mode and elevating blood pressure and all those things. And so, here when we're doing these practices, we're doing it already, and then we're doing it with oils which enhance it. But it seems straightforward. But like in his circle of sports and everything, that was like a super big aha moment. And we just take it for granted. But anyway, let's go ahead and share and unmute. You can type in um, shares and questions. Go ahead and fire away. We'll do that for a few minutes, and then we'll jump into our normal Q&A. So we'll process the Auric programming for just a few minutes, and then we'll jump in.
And if you don't know how to raise your hand in the chat, there's a little button that says react, and it has like a little heart. When you click on that, you'll see the option to raise hand. And go ahead, Denise.
Hey, how are you?
Let's get.
Hi, are you there?
Yep.
And you just muted yourself. Okay, let's get you back unmuted again.
Sorry,
There you go.
Samantha. Hi. Well, I still am having a bit of trouble on that left side, especially from that left hip down. And I
Mhm.
have a hard time pulling through my left foot, the soles.
Do you have an issue with that hip?
Yeah, that's the one that I've been in physical therapy for. And
Okay, so it's that. So,
yeah.
Spend a little extra time on it, and one of the things that you can do, not necessarily in this process, but put things that are like antispasmodic onto that hip, and then even breathe things into that hip. I'm with you. Like when I go and get some therapy from time to time, like physical therapy, the you know the hips are always like a target, just wear and tear through the years, but slipping on the ice and this and that. And, the more that you keep decreasing spasms in the hips, it, it helps to reduce the potential for arthritis and things in that hip socket.
Thank you. Could you just give me 2 antispasmodics?
Well, marjorum's always good, but like I'd say for the hip, I like the idea of joint relief. It's antispasmodic. It gets blood to the area, because that's the other side of the coin, is you're wanting to get blood into that area, and then you're wanting the blood to move out, And so that is antispasmodic, increases circulation, but also keeps the blood moving in that area. Because if it pools, then it starts to be stagnant and may end up turning into inflammation and things like that. But like the black pepper, pink pepper, like all those are good. Basil, petitgrain, marjoram. There's the pain relief antispasmodic. Even yarrow. Yarrow is quite antispasmodic. And one that I forgot about, but when I was writing the stuff for the lymphatic class, is fennel is actually quite an antispasmodic. I don't know that it's better than marjoram, but it deserves to get mentioned. But one that I forget about, and is coriander.
Oh,
And coriander is especially good for like spasms and inflammation where there's pain involved. And, you know, those aren't things that I would necessarily just go, hey, let's throw coriander on it. But, you know, I was doing some reading through my old notes and everything, and I was like, God, so many things I forget. And, you know, wintergreen's also a good choice, especially when it's been chronically held spasms in the body, you know, because sometimes it's not even because it's of an injury, but if something's already a little compromised down deeper, is the body will kind of armor up. You know, it will kind of spasm and tense up to try to protect a joint or a unstable low back, even if it was just a short time injury and you got better, but the hips go, ugh, got to stabilize that back, and they just they'll stay contracted, and so that's why I mean, like I get some therapy on my hip from time to time just to get in there and get those really deep spasms out, and you know, it doesn't feel good when it's happening, but it's to prevent future issues, you know.
and to keep that blood flowing, like you
Yeah,
said, the
yeah.
circulation. I did notice, and you're exactly right. There, through physical therapy, when I do go on my stomach and I'm kind of doing like a slight raising my shoulder slightly up, that
Uh-huh.
area will really tense up,
Yeah,
really tense up.
yeah, yeah.
So it and breathing is significant. And I'll also really drop into my body if I can really breathe properly when I'm doing
Right,
exercise, just slowing
right.
down and doing it. It gets
Yeah,
me, and I didn't really realize I was like, in fight
yeah.
flight, you know,
I
it
mean,
gets
it's
me
one of
back
those
to my
areas
body.
that we don't consciously think about until we're struggling with it. And then you're like, oh, God. I also like to go, like, you know, obviously up into the back a little bit, but down into the legs, you know, so like the outer part of the leg and the inner thigh. I think that's still, it's not a direct cause, but it's still a contributing factor. And like I find that when I do some of the work there, it also unwinds that hip socket. And then when you're doing the quadrants, the energy will flow better. Because part of what makes energy not flow is when the body is contracted in an area. And so, you know, even like the health rays and everything, it helps to open things up. But it's a practice where sometimes, like when you bring in divine energy, you do this thing where you know, and what you're doing is you're concretizing or physicalizing the energy. And so if your body's already doing that in an area, the energy is not moving in that spot. So, I mean, even throw in like mugwort from time to time, not every day, but just keep mixing it up. And I mean, I can't say this is my routine. Like I mix it up a whole bunch. Like I'm doing all kinds of antispasmodics and pain, and I'm doing pain stuff not because I'm in pain, but just to kind of keep reconditioning the tissue and put helichrysum on it, and and still work the health rays, and still work the things from the Auric programming, the one for the muscles and the one for the nervous system.
Um, on that, you said outer part of the leg and the inner thigh specifically to
Mhm,
really work on
mhm,
those as well.
mhm.
And the other one that you really did suggest that when I am really in pain there, if I use a little bit of oil, like a sesame oil on first, across the top of my thigh and hip, my where my hip and thigh meet,
Uh-huh.
is that birchwood complex.
Oh yeah, but
Oh, that
another
is
great one. Yeah,
it will just really cut the pain.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
for days, even
yeah,
just one application. Thank you
yeah.
so
I
much.
agree. I agree. Yeah,
Oh, thank you so
you're
much.
so welcome. Yeah, keep working that left side. It'll get better there some point.
And then we do have a share in chat as well, but just for all of you guys who have been joining us for the ARC programming, we are just going to do this share. So you can raise your hand right now to go right into the Q&A queue. And we'll get to you starting that here in just a minute. And then someone shared, I forgot how yummy this smells.
Oh yeah, I we were going back and forth about it, kind of quietly or maybe not so quietly, but it's got a bunch of absinthium and I think originally I used wormwood, but wormwood and absinthium are just really kind of the same plant from different regions. And so the absinthium and Cape chamomile, and it's got Davana, which is also in the mugwort family, but it's more of a flower. And so yeah, it's got a lot of good stuff. A lot of mugwort, a lot of artemisia, a lot of absinthium, a lot of Davana, and then Cape chamomile and a couple other little things. But it's a nice blend. Yeah.
Someone's asking, can we do 3 advanced protocols in 7 days?
I mean, yeah, but it's going to be a lot on your energy body because it's not just like, oh, I'm going to calm symptoms down. It'll make the energy body reconfigure a little bit. You're releasing things. And so if you start getting a little overwhelmed, then I'd say back off. I mean, you can do it for a little bit, but it's probably hard to maintain over a period of time. So it's better to be consistent than intense. And so if you can maintain it 3 times a week, then I say go for it. But if it starts to get a little odd, try to back off, but to the point where you're still kind of consistently working the energy body that way, the aura.
Well, thanks for your shares, guys. And I was gonna say, I do enteric support probably like once a week or so.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
always so helpful. But I do find it's a subtler one.
Yeah.
It's one of those, it just,
Yeah.
obviously I feel more mellow right now, but I
Yeah.
think just like every time it just kind of takes this,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I can see progressively.
We had the newsletter go out with the nettle. The nettle would impact it somewhat, like taking the tincture of nettle. And then the other thing is in the class coming up this weekend is in there is a different blend for the enteric nerves that's about releasing stress and trauma loops and balancing out that part of the nervous system. So the enteric support is about the aura. That enteric equilibrium would be more about internally. You don't necessarily take it internal, but you inhale it and it would infect deeper into the body. And so if it's something that strikes you, it's a good combination to do those couple of things. Yeah.
And that does conclude our week 17 journey through the ARC program. And so next week, have your fascial release oil handy. So we'll be doing week 18 next week, which is fascia / trigger points.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones.
And again, the oil is fascial release. And so, yeah. And so if you have any questions, regular questions, go ahead and raise your hand.